I think a lot of people were sceptical really as to how it was going to pan out. They're asking lots of questions. What's it about? Why are we doing it? And what have you? We're doing it because it needs to be done. Hi. We do it because it needs to be done. And it was my hope and my intention to get it up and running. But now that we've got more support, then hopefully it will continue. So thank you guys. Give yourself a round of applause for what you've done thus far.
You haven't even said who you are.
Say again.
You haven't even said who you are.
Oh, all right. Sorry. My name's Cleon Nelson. I've been involved with it from the start, and I'm hoping to see the group develop. And we end up doing a lot more for our elders. There's so many of our elders that don't necessarily go to the daycare facility, that are on their own, that would probably like a bit of culturally specific support at home, and maybe we could create that sort of environment for our elders so they could be visited at home and supported at home, go shopping, cup of tea, fried dumpling, whatever it is. I think culturally we could possibly do that. But this is what the group's about, I've got my own ideas, everybody else have their own ideas. It's just a matter of sharing that and then seeing how we can facilitate that from a financial point of view or from support from the City Council. I'd like to think that as a community we could do that ourselves. I don't think it, for the best part of 10,000 black people in the city, I think there's every opportunity for us to make that work. We've just got to create the framework for it to work, and then make sure that people entrust us to do the right thing as and when. So I'm looking for this organisation to help and support that and create that over the short term so that we can develop something for the long term. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to the daycare facility, I'm going to need it myself at some point. You know what I mean? Some of you younger folks might not need it just yet, but me personally speaking, I'm getting close. And I'd like to know that it's still there, in 10 or 15 years, that I can go and put my feet up and do a bit of salsa even, because that's my thing. but that's it. So thank you. Monica?
Hello, my name's Monica Tucker, and I would just like to say it's a pleasure being part of this group, because my passion is our elders. I work a lot in the community with our elders. Like today, I went visiting a lady, and I said to her, is there anything I can do? And she said, well, I could do with my windows cleaning. And I went, right, show me where everything is. And I changed her net curtains and cleaned her windows for her. And she says to me at the end of the day, how much do I owe you? I said, put the kettle on and make me a cup of coffee. Because to me, that's what it's all about. It's not about money. It's about making sure that our elders are getting what they need. Thank you.
Colin?
Oh. Hello everyone, I'm Colin Anneman. The black community has been under stress for the last couple of years, brought to the fore by the COVID. And we need to protect our elders, and that's the basics of it, as far as I'm concerned. Now, we know that these older people, this generation came here and had to fight all manner of things just to, make ends meet, make sure that we get educated and bring us up. And we owe them, I know a lot of us are kind of getting towards that age when we might be needing to use the service, but we also need to think about generations after us. And it will be a real crying shame if we, that is you, the community, don't make the stance now, take the action now, and make something that's worthwhile for the future. So that's why I'm here. I'm sure that's why most of us are here, taking part in this community action. So if you're out there in the community and you have seen what we're doing here, we need your help just as much as what we're doing here. We need your help. We can't do it all. We need your advice, we need your ideas, and we need your action as well. So don't leave it to the next person. Come and join us and take action. Thank you.
Made any notes? Let's work that out. Very good. Okay, so I'm very much like the way that this has gone in the sense that, so my name's Earl King. I've been involved with this from the time of the demonstration. I was invited to come along by Michael Henry, which many of you may know who Michael is. And it just seemed a group with spirit, really. And spirit is a very, very first starting point for anything, in my opinion, having that kind of inclination. From my perspective, obviously I'm interested in everything to do with black people and people in general. I'm interested in anything to do with struggle. As has been pointed out, we're all getting more elderly, and as you said, maybe it would be irony if I actually needed this, but definitely this is a service that is needed. But on top of this service, we as a community need to have that spirit where we fight for our rights. That spirit where we, irrespective of the kind of differences that we hold, that we unite and fight on the basis of respecting that other people have views that may be different from ours, and but by collectively working together, if you like, that is how we walk forward. And so one of the features of things I've seen, obviously we all understand that there is vicious attacks that take place on us. This isn't one that was on us here. This is one in the States very recently, where 10 black people in a little food store, Tops corner store, and this little white kid is 18 years old, went in there with armour on, body armour, even armour on his head, very heavily armed, shot, I believe, 13 people, and then about 9 of the 10 people he killed, I think mainly it was black people, 11 or 13 were blacks. It was a black district, so you can go in there and randomly shoot people. And again, a lot of the people are elderly because they're the least able to protect themselves, just a cowardly attack. And after this attack, he went out, he took off the helmet and lay down, and the police arrested him. He didn't have an expectation he was going to get killed. If you see in the States, and I look at a lot of American stuff, so it's not the same here, but it is the same to an extent. The black people are killed for just having outdated license plates, having air freshener on the mirror that you're not allowed to have, getting stopped and getting shot, and the excuse of the police is they're frightened, but they're not frightened of this person who, by all accounts, is mad, heavily armed. So that's the problems that we face. I mean, that's in the extreme, if you like, in extremists, but that's the kind of problems. So from my perspective, sure, there are problems from the outside, but one of the things that we can do as a community, we have to stop attacking ourselves. We have to stop that, because that negative stuff is part of the attacks that are put on us, where they encourage people to have very negative feelings of everybody else and blaming ourselves for the problems that we have. It's very, very bad, it's very corrosive, and that isn't the way that we can go forward. So that's one of the things that I wish to push in the going forward, is that the necessity is that we have to have much, much more strength and belief in ourselves. And this is not an attack, it's simply to say in real life we've made huge strides, because you're constantly getting this barrage where, as I say, every kind of attack is made. So this to me, in a small way, is the kind of way that people can fight back against, well, let's just summarise it, it's racism. In different aspects, it's just racism. How can people fight back against this? This is one way. And the respect and the attitude and how people treat the elderly, it reflects the democracy, it reflects the reality, it reflects the humanity of a society. A society that doesn't treat the elderly properly is never a good society. That's always one of the ways you can judge what a society is about. So there's a lot of very good and very positive things about this country, but equally there's some very corrosive, racist stuff which is as much as possible pushed under the carpet and so on. So that's my point in this. So I'm very happy to be amongst people who want to fight and are interested in the community. So thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd like to thank you for inviting me to this inaugural event to formally recognise not only the struggle, but as a black community in Nottingham, how we rise to the struggle. It is a testament to our community that we took up the baton that was thrown down to us, one whereby our elderly were being denied, or the possibility of being denied a service that was rightfully theirs. The very same community that formed part of the Windrush group that came here in the 50s. My father came to Nottingham but then moved to Derby in the 50s. That came to Nottingham in the 50s, and those very same generation that were met with a hostile environment that led to the first uprising in mainland England in 1958 in this very area of St Anne's, and some of those elderly that we are protecting and ensuring that they receive the rightful service they need may have been part of the young generation that took to the street and said no to provocation, no to no blacks, no Irish and no dogs across our land when the Windrush generation came to Britain, coming here, invited to come to Britain as part of the country's attempt to build out of the Second World War. So my parents, my mother came to be a nurse, and the men came to work in a raft of industries, Raleigh and so on. They came to help Britain and were met with hostility, and they took to the street and basically said, we want to be treated with dignity. And those very same generation met with what we were faced with 3 years ago, of being told that a provision that was rightfully theirs was going to be closed. Now, it is a testament to us and something that we should be really, really proud of, that we took, working together, we have done all that we can at this stage to ensure that that provision is maintained. And there is a photo over there of the demonstration that took place in Nottingham. Many of us were on that demonstration that had a lot of media coverage, not only in this country but internationally. And there is the banner that we held during the protest. So it's a testimony to us. And what is so encouraging for me is this, that there is this notion that what we do as a community is that we react. We get up, we react, we express certain emotions, and then it dies down. Well, this is indicative of the fact that indeed we did get up and express our outrage, but that outrage has been translated into action that is transforming that situation. So I think we should be proud of ourselves that we have done this, and it's quite a testimony to us, and it's also indicative of our resilience. Yes, you are right, Earl, that the struggle goes on. The struggle goes on at every point in our lives. We have to struggle. However, we are not a people that sit down and accept the struggle. We are a people that will voice those concerns, those struggles, but then we set about working with others to turn things around. And I think the Black Lives Matter movement in 2020, when lots of us, our young people, and this is so encouraging that our young people across the land, in their numbers, in their thousands. In Derby we had over 2,000. In here you have thousands on Forestfield. Suggests to me that this future is hopeful. because it was young people who got up in 2020 to say enough in terms of injustice, enough in terms of discrimination, enough in terms of marginalisation, recognise the huge contribution that our community, the diaspora community, their children, their grandchildren have made to the prosperity of this country. We have nothing to apologise about. What we must demand and continue to demand is that we get justice and that we are recognised for our huge contribution and that we have a right to have opportunities and realise our potential as a community. So I think we should all, Earl and others, Cleon and others should be proud of what you have achieved today, and may we continue with the struggle. Thank you.
Can I just suggest, could we, I mean, if you want to speak, I mean...
Yeah, I was just about to
okay.
make a suggestion. If there's anybody else in the room that's supporting us, Dion, Nolan, that wants to just say a few words. Yeah?
I endorse everything so far.
Okay, we'll accept that.
Yeah.
We'll accept that.
Rosemary, do you want to say something?
I
think you should.
It's a privilege to be here. Thank you very much. And I understand the slogan that comes from the 50s, the tripartite abuse slogan, because I saw it on the corner of my street where I grew up. And I asked my parents what it was for. My dad explained. And I said, but they don't have a right to say that. He said, oh yes they do, it's their house. But on the other hand, when I said, well, why are these people prepared to come and face all this abuse? My dad said, if they didn't come, London Transport would grind to a halt. And my mum said in the next breath, and if they didn't come, the NHS would fold. So this is my memory of the 50s, when I was just a little kid sitting around the tea table. And I would like that always to be remembered. Along with the tripartite abuse, we have the dual praise and relief that you all came. And as a result, my life has been richer, happier, and everything that's good. So many thanks.
Bless
and
you.
let it continue.
So as the draft has gone, which you've created, Earl, the chairman or chairperson will head the association in line with the directives of the membership through the AGM, and the committee through its regular monthly meeting gives day-to-day voice and direction of the association, chairs all regular meetings of the committee unless absent, in which case a deputy will be chosen to fulfil the role. Also, the head of the executive committee is the main agency for the resolution of disputes within the organisation, both for individuals and for departments or secretaries, with any complaints or grievances being directed in the first instance to the chair. Is that? Hi Judith, hi, welcome. Is empowered to exercise initiatives to create and nurture relationships with outside individuals and third-party agencies who are likely to benefit the interests and needs of the Nottingham elderly Afro-Caribbean community. Will be one of the 3 signatories to the association's bank account to permit the withdrawal and transfer of funds along with the signature of the Treasurer. In between committee meetings, reports regularly to the Executive Committee on actions and developments pertaining to the association. Will oversee the production and present of the Executive Committee annual report and the annual general meetings, i.e. the AGMs. He or she will also be elected annually by the majority vote of the annual general meeting. That's what we're suggesting, that the chairperson will, that's a good part of his role. Yeah? Does everybody in agree with that? Have we? Yeah? Okay. Right, the treasurer, responsible for recording the association's expenditure and income and regular reporting on these key items at committee meetings, will be the main signatory for the association's bank account and will be responsible for the accreditation and withdrawal and transfer of funds. Will oversee the production of and present to the treasury financial reports as a part of the executive committee annual report to the annual and general meetings. Will report regularly to the executive committee and when called on to the general monthly meetings committee. Is responsible for the production of annual accounts. Will be elected annually by majority vote at the annual general meeting. That is the role of the treasurer. Yeah, I'm going to fold that up and put it in the car in a minute. Membership secretary is responsible for maintaining the membership list, recording membership subscriptions and ensuring that the Data Protection Act 2018 is complied with. Will minute committee meetings and executive meetings and produce the minutes for each meetings in a timely fashion. Will minute the discussion of the annual general meeting and any special general meetings. Will be responsible for notifying members of the annual general meeting date, time and place, and also notify members of any other official organised general meetings. Will report regularly to the executive committee and when called on to the general monthly committee meetings. Will a copy of all minutes relating to any formal meetings within the association should be lodged with the secretary, the MS. Will be elected annually by majority vote at the annual general meeting. So we have Association Development Secretary, ADS. Support the chair in identifying, creating and developing sustainable growth by working with outside third-party agencies. Under the direction of the Executive Committee, the ADS will work with other association secretaries to facilitate unity, growth and strategic development within the association. Ensures enough fundraising events are planned to enable the association to fund its activities. Will report regularly to the Executive Committee and when called on the general monthly meetings. Will contribute to the production of the Executive Committee's annual report. Will be elected by majority vote at the annual general meeting. So, Media Secretary will be the primary hub for the centre of all external communications made on behalf of the association. Will oversee, proofread and approve all media leaving the organisation, including publications, promotional materials and also advise on media channels that will be used to publicise the association and its work. We'll also oversee any media information advice, etc., that is distributed internally, but not including the distribution of minutes of the various meetings. Will report regularly to the Executive Committee and when called on to the General Monthly Meeting Committee. Will contribute to the production of the Executive Committee annual report. Will be elected again by majority vote at the annual general meetings. Funding Secretary, FS. Under the direction of the Executive Committee, the FS identifies financing opportunities for the association and is responsible for the submission of financial proposals and managing the bid, tenders and its processes. Is the main driver of the association's third-party funding activities. Will report regularly to the Executive Committee and when called on to the general monthly committee meetings. Will contribute to the production of the Executive Committee's annual report. And again, will be elected by majority vote at the annual general meeting. Operations Secretary is responsible for planning and executing the delivery of the association individual events and activities. Sorry guys. Is responsible for planning and executing the delivery of the association's individual events and activities. Will report regularly to the Executive Committee and when called on to the general monthly committee meetings. Will contribute to the production of the Executive Committee. Oh dear,
Is that something from you?
Yes, yeah, I'll call them later. Will contribute to the production of the Executive Committee's annual report. Will be elected by majority vote and at the annual general meetings. Any complaints against the chair should be addressed in the first instance to the chair and subsequently to the Executive Committee. The final remedy for any such complaints is to be appropriate, is the appropriate monthly meeting, and the members concerned must be told of the decision of the meeting in a timely fashion. All committee roles are volunteer roles and do not attract an income. Yeah?
All those in favour? All those in favour?
So are we in agreement of the roles and how they're going to be delivered to the organisation?
Yes.
Is anybody that's got any comments that want to sort of like we can get a view of people's personals? I mean, I'm hoping that majority of the stuff has been read and sort of partly understood. Yeah? Okay.
So just a bit of official stuff.
Yeah.
As we've all agreed that membership to the organisation is going to be a subscription charge of either £5 per month or £60 per year. Okay. And we're not at a stage where we can actually sign up as yet. But what I'd like to do is everyone could put their name and email address and phone number on here, so that I can contact you, and once the membership forms are ready.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Bank account yet?
no, that's not.
That is a challenge. That's something we got to tackle. That's a big challenge.
It's not that big a challenge, but
It's not big, but it's definitely a challenge. I agree. It is a challenge. It's a pain. Yeah.
okay. So I'm going to leave this here.
Yeah.
You should just make sure you put your details on here, and then take one of these. Okay, this just tells you a bit about what's going to happen after you.
Excellent.
Okay.
You have to excuse me, my dedication, I'm on a Zoom call, but I thought I'd come and support in between.
This guy called Harry Belafonte is from years ago, and it's called Island in the Sun. And Harry Belafonte was a real activist, and everybody talks about the civil rights movement in the 60s, but Harry Belafonte is one of the early people who, very, very, very militant guy. And if I'm right, I think he was from Jamaica, but he sold the first 1 million albums. He was the first person to do that, to sell 1 million albums. And I think it was about 1960, so it was a big thing. Okay. This is my island in the sun, where my people have toiled
since time begun. Though I may sail on many a sea, her shores will always be home to me. Oh, island in the sun, given to me by my father's hand, all my days I will sing in praise of thy forest waters and shining sands. Oh, island in the sun, given to me by my father's hand, all my days I will sing in praise of thy forest waters and shining sands. I see woman on bended knee, cutting cane for her family. I see man at the waterside, casting his nets to the surging tide. Oh, island in the sun, given to me by my father's hand, all my days I will sing in praise of thy forest waters and shining sands. Oh, island in the sun, given to me by my father's hand, all my days I will sing in praise of thy forest waters and shining sands. So, thank you.
I'll give Simon Cowell a call in the morning. Okay, Rosemary.
Marcus Garvey is a great hero for many people. But the sadness is that he's becoming a silent icon. There is a very important book called The Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey. And when I went to Waterstones to ask for it yesterday, it is out of print.
Oh, God.
The only ones we can get are print on demand. And I'm sorry that you say our objectives must be limited. But I really think that in Nottingham, with so many, 3 important organisations named for Marcus Garvey, we need to try to make an effort to retrieve copies and have it in print again. To me, the philosophy and opinions are second to the Bible. You dip into the Bible for inspiration. You dip into the philosophy and opinions for guidance and direction. And this is what I wrote many, many years ago. It's called Citation. Citation. Marcus Mosiah Garvey, you defied expectations as you followed the path of traditional migrations. Richly you served, more than host countries deserved. Chaired, lectured, upbraided, propaganded, persuaded, the United Negro Improvement Association sprang and spread wide through awed, nervous nations. More than any other clarion call, one aim, one God, one destiny, said all. Spendthrifts, the rich, the miserly, the poor, invested their extras, their pittance, and more. America arose to the vision you painted, hailed businesses, shipping lines, and plotted your fall. Goaded, arraigned, betrayed, misreported, arrested, tried, imprisoned, deported. Rather than backtrack a word you had said, visionary warrior, you silently bled. England provided no room for your prophecy, yet years denied white men the power to atrophy. For hard on the heels of new independences, eminent black men honored your name, rediscovered, republished, restudied relevances, opinions, philosophies, promoted your aim.
Wow.
And here we are again, doing it again.
As we start to draw the evening to a close, anything that...
I'd just like to say that, you know, it's good to be here. It's nice to see so many people here. And let's keep that vision. That vision is about our elders and our elders only. We're not going to
deviate.
Yeah, that way. To anything else, we are strictly for our elders. It's all about our elders, for our elders. We started this group. We've started the meals, we're going to do that sit-in service, we're going to have that care home, we're going to have that support in the community, and I'm going to make sure that I'm part of it. Okay? So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Could I give a note of thanks, please, to our techie man here?
Oh, yes.
Adam.
Yes, thank you, Adam.
Come on behalf of the Green Party!
Can I also just say,
Yes.
you see this young lady here, Rosemary, she has a story to tell.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't know that she lived in Jamaica for over 40 years. That's why she's got an accent. And one day, we must allow her to tell us her story.
I was thinking the same thing myself.
It might take several days.
We don't hear it. We need to hear it.
Retreat!
We need to hear it.
Yeah? So guys, on that note, can I draw this evening to a close?
Okay.